Let's get cooking. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Game. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with a first impression reaction to Delicious in Dungeon. So this is a series that actually I've had suggested to me by multiple people here and there. Um, I don't know much of anything about it other than I think it takes place in a fantasy world. It has to do with food and cooking and all. And I think there was some controversy over some image of the character, like the main female character. Like there was some image of her that people were claiming was overly sexualized, but from what I saw of the picture, it very much wasn't. Um, I think that that's this series at least that was the case with. It was the blonde girl, right? Kind of elf-like, I think, maybe just an elf. Yeah, I think I heard about that controversy on Twitter and then saw like people posting pictures about it, and it's really not sexualized. So the people who think it are, it's like, okay, you're a little weird to see that as sexualized, but you know, whatever. Anyway, the point is, I don't know very much about this, but there is one other thing that I know and is kind of the reason I decided to check this out today. The reason I decided to give this a first impression. Because although it has been recommended to me, this wasn't really on my radar um, until I heard about this. And I heard about this literally today. And so it's kind of like I hear about this and it's like, oh, I gotta at least check it out. Gotta at least give it a chance. So we are going to be reacting to the English dub. And there's one very specific reason for that. The main character in the dub is voiced by Emily Rudd, the actress who was Nami in the live action One Piece. She was also in the Fear Street movies on Netflix and other things here and there. But those are the two big things I know her for. The Fear Street movies and One Piece. This is her first voice role. Like I found out about this because I saw it on Twitter. She posted about it, thanking them for this being her first voiceover role. And the fact that she got to star in this super popular, just amazingly well received adaptation of one of the biggest anime ever, and has since then received a main character role in an ongoing anime series is a huge deal. That's really fucking awesome. And I want to support that. I want to support her in this because she was phenomenal as Nami in the One Piece live action. She was kind of the heart and soul of the season. Like, you can say all you want about Iñaki Godoy being amazing as Luffy. He was. Makenyu was great as Zoro. You have Jacob as Usopp and Tai as Sanji. You have, of course, the phenomenal Jeff Ward as Buggy. But the heart and soul of the first season of the One Piece live action was undoubtedly Emily Rudd's Nami. Like, the way the season was put together compared to even the original series, whether manga or anime, it was made to center around Nami and her journey from just being an ally of Luffy to actually being his navigator, to being his crew member. Like, the entire season centered around that as the focal point and the final big climax of the season. So she really, really nailed it. And I want to see her in more stuff. Again, I already knew of her before One Piece live action through the Fear Street movies, in which she worked alongside Sadie Sink, who's famous for Stranger Things and The Whale with Brendan Fraser. She was Sadie Sink's character's sister in the Fear Street movies. I think specifically she was in the second and third movie. But it's a trilogy that all kind of like goes back to back. So, um, but yeah, they were fantastic in that. And I've always been a huge lover of Sadie Sink's performances. She's amazing in Stranger Things, especially the most recent season. She's phenomenal in The Whale. It's like she needs more attention too. But seeing that, like, now we have one of them, that we have Emily Rudd in this, again, notable series. This isn't just like some small nothing anime. This is getting a lot of attention. Like, just in general, the series is very well received and people are talking about it. Um, it's not like just some random little nothing of a series that no one knows about. That's an even bigger deal. Now, I don't know how her performance is in this because I haven't heard it yet. But based on just her performance as an actor in general, I think she's going to do a great job. And I have all the faith in the world that her performance will be fantastic. Now, again, I'm going to go into this blind, outside of the little bit I know. So, I won't be able to compare it to the manga. I won't be able to compare it to the Japanese version in terms of how the characters are portrayed. I can only base it off of my own experience through watching this blind. So if anyone is coming into this video, this reaction, and maybe doesn't like the dub for one reason or another, maybe they think it doesn't portray the characters as they feel they should be, keep in mind, I am just going to judge this purely off of my experience. As someone who is an anime only to this, and as someone who is, you know, only seeing this in the dub. Um, I'm making a point of saying this because I have gotten and had to delete comments before of people, um, let's just say, deriding me for checking out the dub of a series. I've gotten it for Fire Force, for example. Um, Keep in mind, I am choosing to watch this because I am choosing to support the specific voice actor in the main role. It is my choice. If you don't like it, if you don't like the dub, don't leave a hate comment. Go watch something else if it's going to bother you that much. Like, it's not that big a deal. You don't have to throw a fit just because I'm choosing to watch something. This is how I'm choosing to watch it, and this is how I'm going to experience it. Deal with it. Honestly. But either way, I hope to enjoy this. I do like cooking stuff. I do like stuff involving food and whatnot. And not just because I'm fat, though I'm fat because I like food. To be fair. Um, but yeah, it's like I just really get a kick out of like culinary stuff. I had even taken classes in high school. Um, I only didn't really pursue it further because I'm really bad at the measurements and stuff because it involves a lot of math that I've always been terrible with math, like really terrible. So it's like that part kind of like broke me away from it, unfortunately. But enough being said. Also, just as a last little note, sorry for the lighting. It's later in the day. I kind of decided to do this last minute because, again, I saw the tweet stuff. So this is later than I usually record. So the lighting's probably going to change notably during the reaction, and I might even have to bring out my ring light in the afterthoughts. But we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, let's get this going and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So let's look up some of these voices. So, outside of Emily Rudd, who I already mentioned, there's Casey Mongillo, who was Chilchuck. Okay. So Casey Mongillo has done roles, according to this, such as Emporio El Nino from JoJo's Stone Ocean, the Angel Devil from Chainsaw Man, Giselle Joelle from Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. Let's see, any other notable ones? Various roles in Pokemon Journeys. And various other things it looks like here. Okay, so... Oop, did not mean to do that. Okay, so let's see. Leos, who is the warrior, let's check him. That is Damien Haas. So Damien Haas was apparently in Starfield, Fortnite, Fire Emblem Heroes, and not much else. Actually, looks like Damien Haas is a newer VA. Was in the TV show Clarence, but hasn't been in a huge amount. Oku, the Inner Chambers, like a Dragon Gaiden. Yeah, hasn't done a lot. So Damien Haas is actually fairly new. I thought he did a great job. So did Casey Mongillo, of course. Senshi, I don't even have to look this one up. Senshi is Sungwon Cho, aka ProZD, the YouTuber who I have actually met at Youmacon. He's really funny and great. He's been in various things. He is a voice actor. So it's not like it's his first role by any means. He was in stuff like Agretzko and Genlock and Ranking of Kings. He's becoming pretty well known in the voice acting space. So I really like that was him. I would not have guessed, but he's had some variation in his voice roles, so that's not too surprising. And then there's Phelan, who we only kind of briefly saw at the beginning. Phelan is Lisa Raymold. Or Raymold? Let's check this one. Okay. Oh, Lisa Raymold is Iran in Pluto. Okay. I still need to get back to that at some point. I obviously will. But that's definitely a notable one. Perla Pucci in Stone Ocean. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Okay. Minor character, all things considered. Was in the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Yasahime. Pokemon Masters. Oh, Carmilla in ReZero. Smite. A fairly new VA too as well, though. It seems like a lot of these VAs are newer or just haven't been in a lot of big things. And I kind of like that they're giving these spots to newer VAs. Apparently, according to this, Marin Miller is in this. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but Mick Lauer is in this. Mick Lauer was in the Has Been Hotel pilot, and I think he's in Hell of a Boss as well, actually. And I think he's actually going to be in the Has Been Hotel series, but he's not going to be Husk in the series because he was replaced by Keith David. But yeah, he was Husk in the Has Been Hotel pilot, so that's interesting that he's in this. He's some other character I don't recognize the name of, so probably just hasn't appeared by episode 1. But yeah, so this is a pretty good cast. They did a great job for seemingly all being semi newer. Um, but yeah, like I just if I hadn't known that was Emily Rudd, I probably wouldn't have guessed. It's such a different performance from her from the other roles I've seen her in. But again, I mean that in a very good way because her performance was great. It was just a very different kind of performance than what I'm used to with her. And that's not a bad thing by any means. And I hope that she can continue to get roles in various anime here and there because she definitely knocked this out of the park. The series as a whole, it seems to be like a very kind of slice of life comedy series with a little bit of fantasy action thrown in. Obviously, it takes place in a fantasy world. They're exploring this dungeon, and you have like fighting monsters and stuff, some action involved with that. But for the most part, it's about the food and about like how to use these different monsters for food. Obviously, it's not like an educational series. It's not like Dr. Stone, where it's like you could take this kind of stuff into the real world and actually utilize it. No, it's meant to be goofy, but you could get kind of like some ideas from it. Like I mentioned that like the scorpion very much was reminiscent of lobster in how it seemed to be cooked and everything. Obviously, mushrooms can carry over easily, and different like plants and spices and stuff, different roots and whatnot, could easily be utilized for that. You could probably find it very easily um, different kinds of real life ingredients to kind of mimic everything they show in here. And so you could probably recreate these dishes just using stuff that people normally eat rather than monsters, you know? The fruit tart, for example, you could easily figure that out. Like that looked pretty easy to understand. Just find fruits that could be equivalent. Um, yeah, it's fun. It's cute, and I like that Marcel is very opposed to this kind of thing because the idea of eating monsters is just creepy to her. I do agree at the like demi-human monsters like goblins and stuff though. That's weird. If I'm being honest. The idea of eating humanoid or even semi-humanoid monsters is fucking weird. Like a walking mushroom, it's literally a walking mushroom. Yeah, fine, cool. A scorpion, it's very much like a lobster or something like that. Sure, cool. It's an animal, basically. But something like a goblin that has some level of intelligence that is humanoid in its shape would just be fucking weird. Like that's creepy. I agree on that one. Um, if I were in this kind of situation though, I would not be opposed to trying some of these monsters, if not most of them. I've talked about it before, either on the channel, the Discord, or both. I'm a pretty adventurous eater. I'm willing to try anything once. Um, for example, I had pork brains semi recently. Last time I went to the Asian market in my area, I got pork brains. I've also had cow tongue and stuff like that. I'm willing to give anything a try. I've had snails. I've had all kinds of stuff. Um, if I don't end up liking it, I don't end up liking it. I don't get it again. But I'm willing to give anything a try, pretty much. There's very few exceptions, but it's like living insects I won't do. Like that just freaks me out. I don't like insects as it is. I would not want to eat a living insect. In fact, pretty much anything that's alive when you eat it is a no-go for me. That's just it's freaky to me. um, but like, there's a lot of stuff I would be absolutely willing to give a chance to. And so if I were in this kind of situation, I would be willing to try it. I would be willing to give it a chance. I have no issue with that. Um, but yeah, it's really fun being an adventurous eater because you get to experience some like fun new stuff. Like I've had jellyfish. Who can? A lot of people in America probably can say they haven't had jellyfish. Like it's not a typical part of American cultural diet. There's obviously plenty of exceptions, but I'm just saying. If I went to almost any of my friends, I bet you 9 out of 10 of them would say they have never had jellyfish. um, but yeah, it's fun getting to try new stuff, and I love seeing like how they end up cooking it and how they end up preparing it in the show. Um, Mostly, it seems to be shown through Senshi, who seems to kind of be the guide on how to cook it. While Laos, he seems to be pretty knowledgeable, but mostly because he has the guidebook and everything. There still seems to be quite a bit he doesn't know and understand about it, which is why it's good that Senshi is there because he has more knowledge because he's been doing this for 10 years. He said. Chilchuck seems to be open to things. He seems pretty open on maybe not as much as Leos is, but he seems open. Marcel's the holdout. And again, on certain things I agree with her on, but I would be willing to try a lot of that. Um, Also, apparently slimes have organs. That's a thing. Um, when I think of slimes, like even not just the way they look, but just how they're always portrayed in anything, they're pretty much just an amorphous blob with no organs, no anything. They're just a living blob of slime. There's nothing else to them. So it's really interesting the idea that in this world they actually do have organs. That's kind of fascinating. And seeing like a structure of how they're laid out, it's just like, okay, that's a thing. But sure, why not? Um, so just ignoring voice acting and everything, ignoring the fact that Emily Rudd is in this, I would say actually my favorite character right now, just based off this first episode, is Senshi. He is just a sweetheart. Like he is just absolutely a sweetheart. Like dude comes out of nowhere, and is just so happy to find other people interested in eating monsters, and just asks to join their party, and is so overjoyed when they say he could be very useful to their quest and all. He's just so kind, so helpful. He doesn't even expect anything in return for this. The only thing he asks is just to join their party because he's interested in trying Red Dragon and everything. But that's helpful to them too, so it's not like this big thing that he's asking for that's only in his favor as repayment for him helping them out and all. No. He's not really asking any kind of payment for this. He's just being helpful because he's just a good, sweet guy, and it's like it's super wholesome actually. Um, there's also some really fun expressions I've talked about before plenty of times how I love good expressions in anime and cartoons and video games and stuff, and Marcel has some really good ones in here. Some really wild, fun expressions that really showcase her emotional state well. The other characters had some good emotions too, but she definitely shined in terms of that. The art and animation in general was pretty good. It felt very unique. It didn't feel like your standard anime art and animation. It felt like it had a different style to it that made it stand out. I don't exactly know how to explain it. The audio, the soundtrack, and everything was very much low key fantasy music. Nothing too like exciting, but the kind of music you hear in just in a simple, just kind of low key fantasy series, and I think that very much works for the tone that this seems to be going for. And I've already talked about the voice acting being great and all. It's just like this was just good. but not like from a very exciting, like intense and it's not like good in the same way that say Link Click is good, or Owl House or Ruby. It's not that same kind of quality. It's good in its own way because it's a very different kind of series. Its quality is derived from kind of its wholesomeness and its cuteness and the comedy of it. So it has a very different feeling than something like those other shows that are really good for their story, their character depth, the growth of everything and all. It's a different kind of series, so it's good in different ways. And I really appreciate that. It never feels like it's trying to be something it isn't. Like even at the beginning with that great fantasy backstory and everything, and the big, really intense fight with the dragon. It was while the fight with the dragon was going on, it focused on Leos just noticing that he was hungry and not really paying attention to shit around him, which is why his sister got eaten. So it's like, yeah, okay. Also, apparently, there's just magic in this world that can just bring people back from the dead all willy nilly. And Marcel even mentioned it's like, oh, my first death is going to be by a slime, and it's like she's like so sad about it. It's like your first death. So people just die and come back. That's just normal in this world. Okay, God, that would be useful. That would be very useful for real life. um, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. If for no other reason than its comedy and cuteness. I actually do want to continue this. And I want to continue reacting to it. I don't know exactly when we'll get to it, as with anything we do a first impressions on. It's just going to be added to the list, and I'll get to it when I feel the time is right. When not only a spot opens up, but I feel like that's the series I want to get to next. So, yeah, this will be added to the list and we will get to it in the future. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this first episode of Delicious in Dungeon? And what did you think of the voice acting, especially from Emily Rudd? Again, this is her first voiceover role. And I think she knocked it out of the park. But let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.